Thank you, everybody, for joining me today. I'm Jimmy Atkinson. I'm joined by OZ Insiders co-founder Andy Hagens. We're going to give you a behind-the-scenes sneak preview of OZ Insiders. It's our brand new Opportunity Zones Mastermind group for high-performing OZ professionals, executives, and investors, and we're launching it this week. We've gotten great response already. We have 20 members in the group already. That includes a few members that were part of our private group early on. And, today, before this webinar ends, I'm going to show you basically a behind the scenes tour of this new mastermind group for those high performers in the Opportunity Zones industry. It's OZ Insiders, we're calling it, the premier private community for OZ professionals and investors, where you can get access to the OZ Insiders network and stay in the know on key OZ trends and emerging news. So before this webinar ends, you're going to have a pretty good handle on OZ Insiders and how it can help you. Quick legal disclaimer before we officially dive in. Nothing we do here today and nothing we do inside of OZ Insiders should be considered investment advice. Please consult a professional advisor before making any investment decisions. Now, thank you again, everybody who's joined today. For those who stay until the end, I do have a couple of special offers for founding members of OZ Insiders who end up joining today. And if you've already joined and you're here watching this, we're extending these special offers to you as well. I think actually Andy already posted one of the special offers in our private Slack group not too long ago. So who are we? I'm Jimmy Atkinson. I am the founder of Opportunity DB, which is the original and leading authority on the Opportunity Zones industry. We are a media and events company that basically lives, sleeps, breathes Opportunity Zones since the middle of 2018. We were there when Opportunity Zones first started. Andy is my longtime business partner dating back 20 years, and he recently joined me on the OZ team, the Opportunity DB team, I should say. Not too recently, actually. It's been about 3 years now, Andy. And we are the official curators and founders of OZ Insiders. A couple of disclaimers. I know I read the important legal disclaimer. This is more of a practical disclaimer of what OZ Insiders is not going to do. So just as Opportunity Zones can't make a bad deal a good deal, OZ Insiders, a lot of great resources inside of OZ Insiders, but it's not going to take a bad deal and make it good. That makes sense, right? I mean, isn't that common sense? Like, we can't make a bad deal good. And then also, we have a lot of resources to help you raise capital. It's one of the biggest challenges that folks in our network express to us is, hey, I need to find investors. Hey, I need to raise capital, especially during this year. 2023 has been a particularly rough time for raising capital, not just with OZs, but all forms of capital raising across the capital markets. We are going to help you, or we can help you raise capital, but we're not going to promise we're going to instantly close out your capital raise the second you join. That makes sense, right? Just common sense there, don't you think? So what can OZ Insiders do for you? Here's what we do promise that OZ Insiders will do. OZ Insiders is going to help you drive your opportunity strategy forward, Opportunity Zone strategy forward, essentially take your Opportunity Zone strategy to the next level and help you unlock new growth without spinning your wheels, without wasting time on dead ends. Doesn't that sound great? So 3 challenges that we oftentimes hear from folks in our network, from people who are on our email list, people who call us on the phone, people I run into at events, Opportunity Zone Invest and other investing events all around the country. Challenge number 1 is, I've got a really unique OZ challenge. I bought the property prior to 2017, or oops, I set up the fund after I acquired the asset, or I've got this QOZB that isn't ticking off all of the compliance requirements. That's one challenge that we hear about, is I've got this really unique OZ problem. Another challenge that we hear is Opportunity Zones are confusing. They're new. While some of these other types of investment programs, like a 1031 exchange or like an IRA account, some of these other tax advantage investing programs have been around for decades, or if not 100+ years. OZs are new. They're confusing. Best practices haven't been established yet, and it's too difficult to find the true experts, and everything just takes too long. And by the way, that is true if you don't know where to turn. Challenge number 3 that we hear a lot is Man, Jimmy, I just have a hard time like staying in the know and staying relevant on opportunity zone trends and best practices. There's no case law on opportunity zones. The regs were finalized just a few years ago, and they're still kind of polishing up the regulations. Again, it's this relatively new, unique section of the tax code that frankly was kind of jammed through the legislative process kind of in a rushed fashion. And so it can be tough to get a handle on everything. Again, if you don't know where to turn, it can also be tough to stay in the know on the latest that's happening in OZs. So challenge number one, no one is facing my unique OZ problems. I'm here to tell you that whatever OZ problem or challenge you have, we've probably heard it before, and we probably have an answer for you. And if I personally don't have an answer for you, if Andy personally doesn't have an answer for you, we can plug you in to somebody who will have a solution and an answer for you. We have over 20,000 people on our email list. These are folks who have opted in with us to receive Opportunity Zone podcast content, our Opportunity Zone guides, our other newsletters, and who come to our events. And we have seen just about every question multiple times. Every question you can imagine we've seen, and we know how to plug people in to the right professionals. Those people on our email list, by the way, they're all forms of OZ stakeholders. They are fund administrators, they are fund GPs, they are LP investors, they're real estate developers, financial advisors, accountants, attorneys. Anybody with any interest in OZs is on our email list, and we've been hearing from them for 5.5 years. So we've pretty much heard just about everything. Challenge number two is that opportunity zones are confusing, and it's hard to find the right experts, and everything just takes too long. And again, like I said a minute ago, that can be true if you don't know where to turn. But actually, this is the easy part for us. We've spent the last 5.5 years carefully curating a list of trusted experts and advisors in the opportunity zones industry, because I've been working in this industry since the middle of 2018, traveling all over the country. I can't even tell you how many different events and cities I've been in, talking to different people about opportunity zones. We've hosted dozens of webinars and OZ pitch days just like this one. And I'll boast right now that we believe is the largest Rolodex in the opportunity zone industry. So OZ Insiders can essentially be your shortcut for what used to take too long, or what can take too long if you don't know where to turn. And then opportunity zone challenge number three is it's hard to stay in the know. It's hard to stay relevant. It's hard to keep up to date with the latest industry best practices and trends. But this OZ Insiders network that we're building, which is essentially a community of high-performing professionals, experts, and investors who have been there, done that. Some might be newer, but a lot of the folks in our network are really tried and true, trusted experts. That network is meant to exist to help everyone within the network stay in the know. Plus, I have in my phone numerous people who know what's going on Capitol Hill, who know what's going on with the regs, who know where the deal flow is. We're finally putting all of that collective knowledge together in one place, which is OZ Insiders. So now let me ask you a question. Who wants to hear about OZ Insiders? Who wants to take a sneak peek behind the scenes and get a tour of what's inside of OZ Insiders? Andy, does that sound good?
I want to, yeah. Okay, we got some chat here. Yeah.
Oh,
some people in the chat want to.
Patrick says yes. He's raising his hand. A couple people in the chat are saying yes. I'm going to give you a tour inside of OZ Insiders and basically tell you what you're going to get when you join OZ Insiders. So I mentioned our Rolodex before. You will get access to our Rolodex. Like I said before, I've been working in this industry since the middle of 2018. I've traveled all over the country. I've hosted numerous events, too many to count. We've got over 20,000 people on our email list. We've got a huge CRM of trusted accountants, tax attorneys, fund administrators, GPs, LPs, you name it. We have a huge Rolodex of opportunity zone players, the biggest influencers in the opportunity zone space. We can get you connected. We'll give you access to the right people, plug you in with the right people at the right time. So when you join OZ Insiders, you're going to get access to our Rolodex. You're going to get live monthly master classes. This is a meeting that we do once a month on the first Monday of every month. This is a screenshot from our website. I just grabbed this screenshot earlier this morning so you can see what's on tap for the rest of this year and the first few months of 2024. We have the next 4 master classes scheduled, and you can kind of see which topics we're going to be presenting on and who our instructors are. Andy, you
Jimmy,
are the coordinator of you're the coordinator of our master class. So I want to hear this from you.
I want to jump in because I just want to say how much I love the master class format itself. You know, I'm a business owner, I'm an investor, I'm a father of 5, I'm busy. Like I know a lot of the people in this meeting are very busy with their businesses, with their families. You don't have a lot of time. Like I wish I had 3 lifetimes to live. I could go back to college and get like 6 different master's degrees, right? But I don't have the time. So with the master class format, what we do is we bring in a world-class expert to speak about one specific topic, and they tell me what I need to know in less than an hour. And by the way, that includes live Q&A and group discussion at the end. So it's really succinct. It's really convenient. Again, as an executive, as a business owner, it fits my lifestyle. And I think that the experts, the instructors that we've already lined up, I mean, I think the proof is in the pudding that we have access to the leading experts in this field. The first masterclass that we already held as sort of a pilot was on tax-free capital gains, and it was amazing. The content itself blew me away, but my favorite part was actually the group discussion and the Q&A at the end. It was very lively. There's a lot of brainstorming. I mean, a couple members had questions that were immediately answered by other members in the group, which for me, that was just an awesome moment, to prove out the value of the mastermind. But I want to talk about just these specific ones that we have coming up in the next quarter. So coming up in just a couple weeks, we have a masterclass on structuring opportunity zone deals with Ashley Tyson. And Jimmy and I were going over the game plan and the outline for this masterclass with Ashley. And I'm super excited for that because I know that the content that Ashley is going to go over is going to be very helpful for a lot of people. And then it's kind of a 1-2 punch because that's being followed up in January by a masterclass on opportunity zone PPMs and subscription docs. That's presented by Andrew Daup. Again, another rock star, another stud, if I could use the word. Andrew is great. I mean, he's done so many of these private equity offerings. So he is a true expert, and he's going to tell us what we need to know basically in 45 minutes with Q&A at the end. Following that, in February, Jimmy has brought in Shay Hawkins. So he'll be giving us an inside look at the OZ legislation. I know there's already been a lot of content produced around this legislation, what's in it, but I think the value of the masterclass is in a private setting. I think we can all speak very frankly about what's going on in Capitol Hill. Sometimes those things don't really get said in a public setting. So it's great that we will have one-on-one time with Shay. Obviously, he's a mover and shaker in DC and privy to a lot of these private conversations amongst legislators. And then last but not least, Jimmy, I don't want to forget your masterclass coming up in March on raising OZ equity. You have worked with dozens of different private equity fund managers, helping them fundraise, strategize, implement tactics. And one thing I do want to point out is it is a challenging time period to raise equity right now, really in most private equity asset classes, including opportunity zone. But there are still deals getting funded. There are still offerings being closed every day. There are still people succeeding raising equity in any environment. And so we want to talk about the best practices that are helping new offerings gain traction, or that are helping close out existing offerings that have high quality deals that just need to raise those, last few $1 million or last 10, last 20 million bucks. So we honestly, even past March, we have more master classes planned. We don't have time to talk about everything today. I just wanted to quickly go over the next 4 that we have coming up.
No, that was perfect, Andy. I appreciate it. By the way, these are great master classes, aren't they? I mean, these are the types of topics that somebody who is an OZ insider needs to know more about, right? Or who needs to stay up to date on, right?
Absolutely.
And these are the types of instructors that are industry leaders that are the right ones to teach these classes. Am I right?
Absolutely.
So, by the way, the one that I'm, with all apologies to Ashley Tyson and to Andrew Daup, I'm really excited about the one with Shay Hawkins. I was on the phone with Shay for half an hour last night, just picking his brain on OZ legislation and what's really going on, how they make the sausage on Capitol Hill. And he blew me away with some of the insider knowledge he has. So I said, dude, we got to bring you in for the OZ Insiders Masterclass and get you to dump these knowledge bombs on our group here. So that one I'm really looking forward to. By the way, for those who don't know who Shay Hawkins is, he essentially wrote the legislation on opportunity zones. He was Senator Tim Scott's tax policy advisor a few years back when they initially pushed through that OZ legislation back in, I think it was 2015, 2016, when it was first introduced in Congress. And Shay was active on Capitol Hill in Senator Tim Scott's office at that point in time. And these days, he is president and founder of the Opportunity Funds Association, which is, I believe it's the largest lobbying group on behalf of the qualified opportunity fund industry. So he's very plugged in. He has a lot of members in his OFA group, and he knows what's going on Capitol Hill. So I'm really excited to get that one from it. But also, Andy, that's like the topic that I get the most questions about is, hey, what's going on with legislation? I can't tell you how many times a week I hear from somebody. It's a text, or I run into somebody, or it's an email that just says, hey, Jimmy, what's going on with OZ legislation? So I'm really looking forward to that one. So getting back to our main topic of discussion here, OZ Insiders, when you join today, here's what you're going to get. You're going to get access to our Rolodex, as I mentioned before. You'll have access to our live monthly masterclasses that we do on the second Monday of every month. You'll also have access to the on-demand library of previous masterclasses. So, if you miss one or you can't make it one day, we always put the recording up in our members area the next day within 24 hours. We also give you access to the deck if you want to download the deck and look through the deck. So we actually we're only officially launching OZ Insiders this week, as we mentioned, but we did a kind of a pilot episode, if you will, Andy, on our very first masterclass for a much smaller private group earlier this month, just to get one under our belts and to make sure that we had some content in our members dashboard library. If you join today and log in, you'll see you already have access to a masterclass. It was tax-free capital gains presented by our colleague Michael Johnston, who's a CFA. Andy spoke about this one a few minutes ago, but just to give you a little more info on it, it contextualized qualified opportunity funds as a capital gain tax advantaged vehicle in light of several other types of similar vehicles or similar types of tax advantage vehicles that deal with capital gains, including Section 1202 QSBS, Section 1031, and a handful of others that I had never even heard of before. I learned a ton at that one. So it was really cool to see. And that one was really interesting because, the vast majority of the content we're going to present at our masterclasses are going to be really narrow, OZ focused, which is great. We're going to take deep dives into OZ stuff. But this was a really good first one, I think, because for if you're a GP and you're raising capital for a fund, you should know how QOFs stack up, not just against other OZ deals and other QOFs, but also against other tax advantaged vehicles that are non-OZ. Similarly, if you're an accountant or attorney and you're advising clients on different tax advantage structures, this was a great masterclass. And then if you're an LP investor, you're looking to mitigate your capital gains taxes, I think it was a great class for those types of folks as well. So, and as Andy mentioned, we had a lot of lively discussion within that Zoom meeting earlier this month. So by joining OZ Insiders, you're going to get access to our Rolodex, again, largest Rolodex that we know of in the opportunities on the industry. We can plug you in with just about everyone. You'll get access to our live monthly masterclasses, second Monday of every month, 1 hour long, pretty quick and easy and fun to attend. If I do say so myself, you get access to our on-demand library of previous masterclasses. We record everything, put up on the website the next day. The decks will be there as well. And then the fourth thing you're going to get is access to our private chat group. We use Slack, and this is a screenshot of my phone and a section of our Slack channel from several weeks back when it was just a few of us in there. We have many more members in there now. But for those who don't know, Slack is a web app or a phone app that allows you to have private conversations with a big group or a team, or you can also send people direct messages. So many of our members are active in that Slack app. As soon as you join, you'll get like a private link so you can join the Slack group and start chatting. It's a great way to stay in touch between those monthly meetings because we only meet on Zoom once a month. But if you have a question outside of one of those once a month meetings, you can just shoot a message over to us and say, hey, I've got a question about XYZ, or maybe you see somebody in there that you want to network with. Hey, Andy, I'd love to get to know you more and find out what you guys are doing in Southwest Michigan, right? And then Andy and I are pretty active in there. We frequently post Opportunity Zones news as we come across it. And it's been pretty encouraging so far, the amount of engagement in there. This particular screenshot shows some chatter about Ashley Tyson and I recording a live podcast segment at the Novogradac OZ Summit earlier this month.
Jimmy, if I may,
yeah, go ahead, Andy.
The Slack thing, one of the benefits to this group is just direct access to Jimmy. Right. And honestly, one of the things I miss about working in an office, because, like a lot of us, I work from a home office now, is there's no water cooler, right? There's no place where I can just check in with a team. And so, I don't like to spend all day in these online chat apps, but it's kind of nice just to check in when there's big news and kind of see what other people are thinking. Just not to gossip, but just to kind of talk about the OZ news in a group of other like-minded individuals who get it, right, Jimmy?
Absolutely, Andy. No, well said there. Well said indeed. So when you join OZ Insiders, you're going to get, just a recap, access to our Rolodex. You'll have access to our live monthly masterclass, second Monday of every month, on-demand library of previous masterclasses. If you ever miss a recording, or even if you join like 6 months from now, we want you to join today. But if you join 6 months from now, you can get caught up on all the other masterclasses. Or if you miss one, we're recording everything. You also get 24/7 access to our private chat group. That's the Slack app that we showed on the previous screen. And the fifth thing you'll get is invitations to our private in-person events. So I was recently at the Novogradac OZ Summit, and the woman who helps run those events is Christiana Cohen. I don't know, she might even be here today. I haven't seen the roster of who's there, but I was telling Christiana about OZ Insiders a week or two ago, and I was telling her a story of how much fun and how inspiring it was to get together in person at that big Novogradac event in a room of 100 plus other Opportunity Zone professionals. Don't get me wrong, like Andy and I love doing these online events. We do a lot of events via Zoom. We do webinars like this one. We do OZ Pitch Day. We do our meetings over Zoom sometimes. We do our strategy calls over Zoom. I'll get to the strategy calls in a minute. But it's really awesome to get together in person with other OZ nerds, essentially, like me, for lack of a better term. So to that end, we are planning on hosting 2 or 3 Opportunity Zone Insiders only dinners throughout the course of 2024. We have one tentatively scheduled for March in Dallas, which will coincide with another investing event that I'm going to be attending. And then we're also looking to do one in Chicago in late spring, I should say, excuse me, once the snow goes away, basically, right, Andy? And then we'll likely add a third one later in the year, but we haven't firmed up all those details yet. And those are going to be smaller than like a big one-day conference. I'm talking about like a kind of a 2-hour plus sit down, have dinner together type of thing. Maybe go out for drinks afterwards. But just so we can all stay in touch in person, we're going to kind of take the OZ Insiders concept on tour next year to a few different cities. So Andy, I don't know if you had anything else to add to that, but that's one thing I'm really.
No, I mean, part of the point of the group is to have fun, right? And again, just getting together with like-minded individuals. You say OZ nerds, Jamie. I prefer OZ leaders and doers and business owners and professionals, but that might be an apt description. But it's just kind of nice to be with people who get it.
Yeah, OZ nerds, I was using a shorthand for what you just said. OZ doers and professionals and executives. Because, by the way, like I love doing this, but the fact of the matter is, like, it gets kind of lonely in here. I'm in my home office by myself, and it's kind of fun to go out on the road and actually sit down and talk with other people one-on-one, face-to-face. You can't really replace that. So OZ Insiders, recap what you're going to get. Access to our Rolodex, live monthly masterclasses, second Monday of every month, on-demand library of all of our previous masterclasses that we've ever recorded, 24/7 access to our private chat group on Slack, invitations to our private in-person events. We're doing 2 or 3 dinners next year. And then This one is just for founding members who join this week. You're also going to get a strategy call with me. Now, I have limited availability. So we're not going to this offer is like only on the table for this launch week only. Once Friday at midnight hits or sometime at the end of the week, we're going to kind of shut off this offer. So if you're at this webinar right now, this offer is for you. It's good through the end of the week. You're going to get a one-on-one strategy call with me, and I can essentially help you tackle any OZ challenge that you have. I've already had at least 2 of them already. I did one with John in Texas earlier this morning. He's got a couple of deals going on. He's got a hotel deal in Rockport, Texas, down the road from me, a little ways down the road from me, that he's working on putting together and rounding out. And then he's actually got a non-OZ crowdfunding deal that sounded, I won't give away too many details because he's kind of in a quiet period right now, but it sounded, suffice it to
sounds
say,
awesome.
I can't really say exactly what it is, but it sounds awesome. But just to drive the point home, like even if you have like non-OZ stuff that you need help on, I mean, we're mostly here to help each other with our opportunity zone strategy. But if you're working on other stuff, you got non-OZ thing, maybe private equity or private real estate that's outside of an opportunity zone, we can still get you plugged in with the right people oftentimes. So, and then another story we had was a strategy call we did a week or so ago was with Doug in California. He was one of our first early members as part of our private group. And he's putting together ground up retail in Central California. He's been doing it a long time. He has a lot of experience doing retail development in Central California, but he was a little bit new to the OZ game. So I just helped get him plugged into the right attorneys. I gave him some attorney recommendations. We have a sheet actually of recommended attorneys that we'll pass on to any OZ insiders that are looking for legal help. And whether it's a business attorney or a real estate attorney or a securities attorney or somebody who specializes just in structuring OZ deals, we've got a few different attorneys that we like to refer folks out to. And that was already incredibly valuable for Doug, just getting those different referrals and also helping walk him through, the do's and don'ts of opportunity zones. He had some questions about triple net leases, if that was allowed or not. So we had a good 30-minute call, and we probably could have talked for a couple of hours, frankly, but I helped get him plugged in to where he needed to be. Again, this is somebody with a ton of experience doing retail development, but hadn't done a lot in the OZ space yet, but just looking to get plugged in. And essentially he saw me as a shortcut. And I think he was right. OZ Insiders is a shortcut for him to make sure that he was getting things laid out the right way. So again, that's this week only. If you join, you'll get that strategy call with me. So again, here's a recap of everything you'll get when you join OZ Insiders. Access to our Rolodex, live monthly masterclasses. This is like our big monthly keystone event that we do on the second Monday of every month. Really quick 1-hour meeting where you learn everything you need to learn about a particular topic. On-demand library of previous masterclasses. We record everything. You'll get the decks. You'll get the recording in case you miss anything or want to rewatch. You'll also get access to our private chat group, which we use Slack. You'll instantly get that as soon as you log on, and you can start chatting with us right away. You can start chatting with other people in the network right away. You'll get invitations to our private in-person events. Again, we're going to host at least 2, probably 3 dinners in 2024 in different cities around the country. Haven't firmed up the details yet, but the first one will definitely be in March in Dallas. And then this last bullet point, the 6th bullet point, this is for this week only. I'm going to strip this out of the deck going forward. Founding members who join this week will also get a strategy call with me. So we have valued this whole package at $28,800. Now, I'm obviously not going to charge you $28,800 for this, but let me ask you a few questions here. If all OZ Insiders did was give you access to our Rolodex, would it be worth it? If all OZ Insiders did was provide you with invitations to our in-person meetings with leading professionals and investors in the space, would it be worth it? And if all OZ Insiders did was give you the highest quality educational content taught by the very best teachers in our industry, would it be worth it? Just some questions for you to ponder on. I invite you to get started now. You head over to ozinsiders.com to learn more about OZ Insiders. Again, we value this at $28,800 total value, but you can get it today, get started today for just $299 per month. So that's all you owe today is $299. Best part, maybe it's the best part. We stand behind what we are claiming to do. And we do not want to rip anybody off, and we don't want to take anybody's money if it's not working for you. So we offer a 60-day money-back guarantee, totally risk-free. We are so confident in the value that OZ Insiders is going to deliver for you that we're backing all of our memberships, whether you sign up for the monthly membership at $299 a month. We also have an annual membership, by the way, if you want to prepay for a year at $29.99 a year. No questions asked, money back guarantee. If at any point in time within the first 60 days of your membership, you're not completely satisfied with your OZ Insiders membership, you can request a full refund. Just email us, email team@ozinsiders.com. That email comes straight to myself and to Andy, and we'll get you taken care of. No questions asked. You can just tell us it wasn't working for you. You don't have to give us any reason whatsoever. You can just say, hey, I'm out, give me my money back. We're happy to do that. We only want you to stay a member if you 100% love it. So you're going to get access to our Rolodex. You're going to get access to our live monthly master classes, second Monday of every month, 3 p.m. Eastern time, like clockwork. You're going to get access to our library, on-demand recordings of all of our previous master classes, 24/7 access to our private chat group. You can start chatting with us and other members right away. You're going to get invitations to all of our private in-person events. We're going to host a few different dinners throughout the course of 2024. Founding members only, this week only, you'll get a strategy call with Jimmy. Total value of everything here is $28,800. So again, recap of everything you're going to get up there in the top left. If you're ready to join, you can scan that QR code, or you can head over to ozinsiders.com right now. It's $299 a month. We have a 60-day money-back guarantee. It's no risk. And we're going to open it up for questions in just a minute here, because I do want to spend the balance of the hour taking questions, or as many questions as we have. But first, I wanted to invite Brett Siglin up on the stage. So Brett Siglin is an opportunity zone attorney. He does more than just opportunity zones, but OZs is his one of his areas of specialization. And Brett just joined. He was part of our early group, our smaller private group. He joined a couple of weeks ago. Brett, you and I spent half an hour on the phone a couple of weeks ago. You were picking my brain on everything that was inside of OZ Insiders. And can you tell Andy and me and the rest of our audience what you like about OZ Insiders a couple of weeks in now, and why you decided to join?
Yeah, no, thanks, Jimmy. Thanks for this opportunity. My name is Brett Siglin. I'm an attorney at Fenimore and Craig in Phoenix, and I've been kind of in the tax advantaged real estate world for going on 20 years. And since the advent of the OZ incentive over the last 5-6 years, I've become, so to speak, an OZ expert. We set up OZ funds. We help clients sponsor and syndicate funds. We represent clients in joint ventures, and then we also do a lot of offerings. Aside from that, I do quite a lot of deal structuring on the front end for folks that want to get smart on the latest and greatest OZ rules. And then, of course, like Jimmy said, we do a lot of the same thing for regular deals that don't have the opportunity zone incentive. I can honestly say it was like an epiphany when you called me. I think the timing of this is ideal. We've had this incentive around for going on 6 years. I know everyone on this group here today, knows a lot about opportunity zones. They've probably done a deal or two, and they certainly have contacts in the industry. But in light of what's happening in the economy and the difficulty it is to raise money to get access to debt, it seems like a perfect time for all of us to come together in an insider approach like this. And frankly, I think it's right for it too, as far as the sophistication. I mean, what I love about this, Jimmy and Andy, is that you're bringing in people that are effectively pros or insiders or people that need access to others like them. And I'm unaware of anything like this, short of, maybe you call the Novogradic Working Group, a similar platform, but it's really not, because I think this is a broader platform for, people that want to invest, people that want to develop, people that want to put together deals, syndicate deals, or there's, the attorneys, the accountants, and the other professionals out there. And I'm just tickled by what you're doing here, and frankly, I can't think of two better people to do it than you two guys. So, a glowing recommendation.
Perfect. Brett, thanks for hopping on. I'm gonna send you back down to attendee mode. But appreciate the kind words, and thanks for being an OZ Insider for putting
Thank
your
you
trust
for
in us.
having
I
me.
appreciate it. And we'll see you in the Slack group.
That's right.
All right, so that was Brett Siglin. I've known Brett for a few years. He's one of our preferred Opportunity Zone attorneys. I was blown away when he joined the group a couple of weeks ago. I wanted to get in more folks like Brett, so it was incredible. I do want to just take the balance of the time to answer any questions that anybody has. If you have any type of question whatsoever, Opportunity Zone question, or maybe a question about OZ Insiders, we're here for the next 15 or 20 minutes to answer any questions that you may have. Andy, what are you most excited about when it comes to OZ Insiders and the value that it can deliver?
Well, the master classes, I mean, those are kind of my baby, I guess, in terms of, I'm helping to plan them. But I love the format. I love the fact that they are so succinct and focused. And I love that they are live and allow for live interaction. So, when Shay comes for his master class, I can ask anything I want. And it's in this private setting. So, sometimes people are just talk a little bit differently, maybe reveal some different information when they know it's a closed private community with other, frankly, high performing people who bring a lot of intention and are very focused on their opportunities on strategy. So I'm excited for that. Obviously, I'm with you. I love getting together in person. Like, I love technology. I love Zoom. I love all these tools that allow us to telecommute, but there's just no substitute for getting together in person. I love steaks and martinis, right? So I'm always going to be I'm going to be voting for Gibson Steakhouse when we meet in Chicago. But if anybody has any other restaurant recommendations in Chicago that we can maybe look at, feel free to send me a message on Slack. But I think maybe those two aspects are what I'm looking forward to. And I have to say also just the strategy calls and even the things that I'm learning from the members who have joined. That's really rewarding for me because I'm hearing about things that I just never would have heard about otherwise, except for being a part of this group. So also just want to thank the people who have joined already and who have, generously shared information with us and have helped other members. It's really inspiring to see. And again, that community aspect for me, that's really fun. It makes work more fun when I'm in a community.
Awesome, Andy. Well said. We do have a couple of questions. So, by the way, Bob Downing has a question for the group. Bob, do you want me to promote you to panelist, or do you want to type it in the chat? I'll let you respond there. We also had a question about, hey, what the heck did Brett Siglin say? Can you type in his contact info in the chat? So I just dropped his email address in the chat.
Jimmy, one other question we had. I want to talk a little bit about Slack and what it is. So that, we had a question about the chat app that we're using. So it's available at slack.com. I put that link in the chat, and it's an app that you can use in a desktop computer or in a web browser on a desktop, or it's an app you can get on a mobile phone. So Android or iPhone. It's pretty widely used, I think, in professional contexts. We wanted a chat app that a lot of people were already using, and that was sort of geared towards more professional groups rather than, I don't know, video gamers or whatever. So Slack, I think it's a good choice for professionals, and it's one of those things that you can use as little or as much as you want, right? So if it's something you want to log into every day, you're welcome to. If it's something you just kind of want to check out once a week, and kind of see what's going on, that's fine too. It's sort of an on-demand service, and really everything in this group is on demand. Obviously, a lot of our members are very active, and we want to encourage that participation. That's a big part of the value. but it's one of those things like if you can't make a masterclass and you want to watch it on demand after the fact, or maybe even skip one, like that's totally fine. We are here for you. Jimmy and I are on demand here for you, whether that's Slack or email or the one-on-one strategy call you get with Jimmy if you sign up this week.
Fantastic. We did have a question about, let's see, can we go over the upcoming master classes again? So I did want to, let's see, I'm actually going to back up and show that, that slide. And in case anybody missed it earlier, here's our upcoming masterclass schedule. Andy, you did a great job recapping this a few minutes ago, but I'll just kind of go over it one more time. By the way, this is just a taste of what's to come, right? These are just the next 4. We're going to do this like clockwork at 3 p.m. Eastern time every second Monday of the month into perpetuity until they tell us to stop doing it, I guess. So the next one will be on structuring OZ deals, taught by Ashley Tyson of OZ Pros. We've got one on PPMs and subscription docs, pertaining particularly to opportunity zones, presented by Andrew Daup. He's a securities attorney in Ohio that I've gotten to know pretty well over the past couple of years. He knows his stuff. Then Shay Hawkins, I gushed about him earlier. Inside the OZ legislation will be our February masterclass. Then I'll be teaching a masterclass on raising OZ equity in March. We had one question that is it possible to get feedback on pro formas and pitch decks? Yes, absolutely. So that's part of what the Slack group is going to be all about, is if you want feedback on anything, if you have a pro forma that you want to share with the group, say, hey, what do you guys think about this? Or even if you just want to send it to me privately, like, hey, Jimmy, what do you think of this? Or hey, Andy, what do you think of this? If you're not ready to share with the whole group, please feel free to. I mean, we've seen a lot of pro formas and a lot of pitch decks over the last 5.5 years. So we can kind of give you feedback on, these numbers aren't quite right. Or, oh, that's pretty competitive. We can give you a lot of great feedback.
We had 3 members join while we've been talking, and we have some other questions. Like I typed a few of them in the Q&A chat, but and there's some other open ones, Jimmy, but just to touch on them real briefly. What days and times are the master classes? I linked to ozinsiders.com/calendar in the chat, or you can just go to ozinsiders.com and click that calendar link in the navigation. That'll give you the date and time for each master class. And then we had another question.
We had a new one every 3 or 4 weeks, basically. So check back again in a month, and we'll have the April one and the May one scheduled probably by then as well.
Exactly, yeah. And then the other question: the master classes are on Zoom, right? So our
Yes.
chat app is Slack, and that's where we're kind of chatting live 24/7. But because everyone is already so familiar with the Zoom app, like we're using it right now, right? It's how Jimmy runs OZ Pitch Day. Because everybody already is kind of familiar with Zoom, we decided we're going to use Zoom for these master classes, and it worked really well for the first one. So we'll be running those on Zoom to answer that question.
Good. We had a couple other questions in here. Somebody was asking about Michiana. Where did that one go? Let's see. Yeah, Rick says, I own 48 acres in the middle of a southeast Michigan area with 5,000 square feet home on the property. What type of OZ projects are going on in rural Michiana? It's a great question. I am not super familiar with rural Michiana, although Andy Higgins does live in Southwest Michigan, and we both, for a time, were students at the University of Notre Dame in South Bend, Indiana. So I do know of. I actually do know.
And Patrick is.
That's right. Patrick's in Grand Rapids, right?
Yeah, and I believe he just joined the group too. So he's an insider. He's in Grand Rapids. So yeah, I think probably we have some folks in the group who
so
might.
Rick should talk with Patrick. And by the way, this is part of the power of this group is I know a lot, but I don't know everything. But I think I probably know, of all the people I know, everybody I know probably knows collectively everything. That's the theory anyway. So I'm hoping Rick and Patrick can connect inside the Slack group at some point and get together. I did just want to speak about the project in South Bend, which is part of Michiana. This is a project developed by Kirk Walton, a longtime OZ friend of mine. He's rehabilitating a vacant medical office building and turning it into student housing just south of campus at the University of Notre Dame. So it's a great little project that he's working on there. It's going to bring another couple hundred units of housing where it's needed pretty badly. I mean, we need housing all over this country. So anyways, that's just one example. I don't think that's really too rural. But anyways, that's all I have for you. But my other suggestion is let's get you connected to Patrick, and hopefully that'll be helpful. We got a question from George, and I'm going to let you field this one. May I sign up for specific classes? He's interested in the master classes and wants to sign up for specific ones.
Yeah, so that's a good question, and also kind of a related question, whether we are willing to like sell our database or sell our Rolodex kind of as a piecemeal thing. So here's the thing, Jimmy and I, we've actually talked about putting together an executive education program that contains something like these master classes in a specific sequence that would be sort of like an Opportunity Zones crash course or an Opportunity Zones executive education program. The thing is, if we put that together and release it, it's going to cost at least $4,000, right? In terms of that price point. And kind of the same thing with the Rolodex. Like, I don't think we ever would sell the Rolodex or our list or anything like that directly, but if we did, it would be at a very high price point. And so the quick answer is, to get access to any of this, the fastest, easiest, and cheapest way to do it is going to be through OZ Insiders, because we've bundled it all together into one membership, I think at a very reasonable price point relative to the value you're getting. Does that answer it, Jimmy? Did I miss anything?
No, I think you got it, Andy. Thanks for chiming in there. I knew you'd be the man to chime in on that one. Teresa asks a couple of questions, actually. What does the Rolodex contain? Andy, can you field that one?
Yeah, so that's a good question. There's like a physical concrete Rolodex, and then there's also the Rolodex inside our community, and then there's the Rolodex inside Jimmy's head. So I guess there's like 3 different parts of the Rolodex. So we have some documents that are our recommendations for different kinds of service providers, including Opportunity Zone attorneys and other types of professionals. Those are documents we only share with OZ Insiders community members, right? So if you need like an attorney recommendation or CPA recommendation or any kind of professional recommendation, we will literally just share that document to you. And again, that's not to distribute publicly. That's a membership benefit for being in the group. Also, a lot of the strategy calls that Jimmy's been on so far, it's basically been connecting our members with other people, and that's the Rolodex that lives inside Jimmy's head. He's good at accessing it, Jimmy. Your hard drive, your RAM in there, you can access the correct files, on demand when anyone asks. But then lastly, I think there's also that collective Rolodex within our community. People like Brett or Patrick that have already chimed in on the chat, or that are community members, they know the right people, right? So either Jimmy has the answer in his head, or he knows the person who has the answer, or the answer is with another community member, Michael O'Mara, just Paul St. Pierre. There's just a lot of leaders in this community that will connect you with the right people. And one comment that I think maybe is worth repeating, Jimmy, we were talking with someone else in the Opportunity Zone space who was a member of a very, very expensive mastermind. Like the cost was like 6 times higher than what this one is priced at. And she said, one of the benefits of being in the group is that it's expensive. It's priced so high in the sense that the other people there, I know that they're successful, and I know that they bring intentionality and focus into what they're doing, right? And so I think that is part of the benefit here, is people like Brett, people like Michael O'Mara, they are very successful in this space, and they're not only going to connect you with people, but they're going to connect you with legit people. Right, Jimmy?
That's right, Andy. I mean, that is as odd as it may seem. Part of the value is the cost and the way that price kind of gatekeeps. So it's only very serious, high performing, successful individuals in our network. Another question we got: do you have fund administrators in your Rolodex? Yes, we do. That was an easy one to answer. If anybody's looking for a fund administrator, we do have a couple of different teams that we usually recommend there. And then Teresa asks another question here: do you have direct support for possible Opportunity Zone projects in New Mexico? So yes, we do. Let me think. I know one person who's doing OZ stuff in New Mexico. I think that's it. I know a handful of people who are located in that broader greater Southwest region. But in any case, depending on what type of support you needed, it may not matter exactly which location you're in. But if you need support putting together your subscription docs or getting plugged into the right teams that can run compliance for you, or if you need the right CPAs, that doesn't really matter where the product is necessarily. We could help plug you in to the right folks there. Andy, this one's for you, I think. Have you considered unbundling and only selling your database? I think maybe
I
that's
think
the
I think I
Rolodex
answered
question.
that kind of in the
Yeah.
prior question about whether we'll sell individual master classes. I mean, maybe we might do that, but I don't think we ever would. And if we did, it would cost more than this product costs. So one other thing I want to mention about the price and about the founding member offer this week, where you get the one-on-one strategy call with Jimmy. The price point for this, it's an introductory price point. As the group fills up, at some point we're going to have to raise the membership price. But if you join as a founding member, you'll be locking in this founding member rate, right, for your membership subscription. So I do think it's a tremendous value. I think we've had members who have joined who've already told us, like, I made the value back in one day, right? It's just in this strategy call with Jimmy. So I'm excited to get this thing off the ground. And I think we have just a tremendous bundle and offer available to everyone who signs up this week or today.
Yeah, perfect. I did just want to, looks like we got 2 or 3 more minutes before the top of the hour, and then we're going to shut it down again. Just to recap the total offer, everything you get when you join OZ Insiders. This week only, founding members get a strategy call with me, but you'll also get access to our Rolodex, live monthly masterclasses, second Monday of every month, on-demand library of all previous masterclasses. We record everything. You'll get to watch the recording. You'll get to download the deck for any of our previous masterclasses, the private chat group via Slack, invitations to all of our private in-person events in 2024. The first one is going to be a dinner in Dallas in March around another investing event that I'm going to. We think this is incredibly valuable. We're pricing it at just $299 per month. We also we had a question about, hey, what's the deal with the annual rate? We do have an annual rate as well, which is $29.99 per year. So basically you save 17% if you sign up for the annual. And the 60-day, no questions asked, money back guarantee applies no matter which plan you sign up for. And then I wanted to read a couple of comments, and then I think we can kind of get out of here if nobody has any other questions. But a couple of comments I wanted to chime in on. Let's see. John Burlett chimed in a little while ago, said, hey, start 2024 out on a great footing. Thanks, Jimmy and Andy, for this networking group. And thank you, John. It's great speaking with you earlier today. Thanks. And now an insider, says Bob. Thank you, Bob. Let's see. Who else do we got here? Just want to make sure I get through all these before we log off. Oh yeah, Mike is a great resource. We've got a lot of activity between Bob and Mike and Patrick chiming in. So that's great. Really want to thank everybody for attending the webinar today.
Jimmy, one last time, just for total clarification, how does someone sign up to get access to the offer from today's webinar or during launch week?
Oh, great question. Just sign up at our website, ozinsiders.com. Click the join now button, either under the monthly or the annual. Michael just asked me, Jimmy, are you going to drop your calendar to schedule the call? Yes, Michael, great question. So I was just getting to that, actually. You do get an email from us, a confirmation email at some point, either today or tomorrow, with a link where you can schedule a call with me. It's just if you've ever used Calendly before, we use that app, and you can book directly to my calendar, and it sets up the Zoom link automatically. So you should be getting that email automatically, Mike. If you don't, just send us an email, team@ozinsiders.com. We'll get you sorted out. Make sure you get that strategy call scheduled. Absolutely. Good question. Andy, I think that's it. I'm going to wrap things up unless you have any other questions.
That sounds good, Jimmy. Thanks for hosting this party. This was fun.
All right. Thanks, Andy. See you guys.